A 1-year pause from work every 5 years should be absolutely normal. After working for the past 15 years, I am seriously considering to just quit my job and to live a year from my savings and just travel the world, read, exercise, spend time with my loved ones, do something for my health, etc. Yet I see all these posts where people who did this are then treated like lunatics when they apply for their next job. Seriously? If you dare to quit the hamster wheel for 1 year, there is supposed to be something wrong with you? It's sick that this is seen as something wrong. Our productivity has increased tremendously, so this is something that should easily be achievable. That's basically what I've done for the past 20 years. Wasn't my long-term plan initially, it just worked out that way. It's been good. I completely agree with you. I've seen people say they circumvent all of that by simply saying they took off to be caretaker of a loved one. People usually drop it after that and don't ask questions BC of how poor taste it is. In Australia we have the legal minimum of long service leave, which is a few paid months off after you work someone for 710 years. It's not much though, and should be a lot more and not have to wait a decade for it. Sabbaticals are definitely practiced by a lot of the working population. All about how you plan for it and sell it. I think employers question, well, if we're not poaching them from someone who needs them, are they the best choice? The thinking is insane and is the reason I won't quit until I've locked something else in. As much as I would love a 6-month break, loudly crying. People seem to think you owe the world your time if you can work. Man, if I had the money to still pay my bills and not work for up to a year. Why is it anyone's business that I am not doing more? I never understood employers that give people hard time for gaps. Like it can be for any reason, like family or layoff. It's not easy to find work most of time, and employers should know this. I have interviewed people with gaps like this and never asked during interview. Learned why while working with them. One went to jail over his ex-wife making accusations. Model employee because he had to take care of his kids. Another took time off for a dying family member when there was no FMLA and couldn't find work after. And they were a mess for a bit after, understandably. Another told me in the interview that he was working a dead-end career that treated him terrible. And he had to walk away for a while and rethink his life. All model employees, but some companies would have passed on them or scared them off with their tactics on work gaps. I took a month off once for no reason and it was magical. Who can afford to take time off? That would be nice if I got paid enough to take a year off. Most of us are stuck living paycheck to paycheck. As others have said, if you're worried about it, just come up with something plausible about why you were away for a year. Caring for a sick, elderly relative. Doing charity work in less than insert country here. Volunteer work. Secret mission to Mars. Etc. etc. I think employers who think there's something wrong with people who don't need to work are misguided. If someone doesn't need to work, but is actively choosing to apply to your job advert, to my mind that makes them a better candidate than someone who is applying because they've no choice but to apply. Most people in the world cannot afford this. I live in a first world country and have an above average salary, and I cannot afford to quit my job for an entire year. But let's suppose I can. Then back to zero. That's not a good future. I took a sabbatical during my 50s. Self-funded to facilitate a career change. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I do this every 34 years. It helps if you have a good skill set. I have lived in some extraordinary places. US only. I can't imagine making so much money I could save and take a year off. You'd need so much money. If you have the confidence and money to do it, then just do it. If your skill set is transferable with other countries, then who knows where you may end up and for how long. You get one go at life. Live it your way, not how others who will be jealous think you should. I'm considering quitting, living from my savings for a few years and then jumping from a bridge. Smiley face. 30 years ago I met a guy who had worked for IBM and retired in his early 40s. He had seen one too many of his coworkers die a year or two after retirement. He put every cent he had into IBM stock, which was a pretty constant winner at that time, I believe. Plus he said IBM matched employee stock purchase by 50%. If I remember properly, he made it to where he could retire, live on his boat, and sail from place to place getting contract jobs in some ports to supplement his income. He seemed very happy, like the op. I cannot fathom anybody thinking a person who does that or takes years off to live is crazy. But don't you see? Our productivity increase was only a way to make more profits for our corporate overlords, not to allow you to work less and have a balanced life. I did it. I slept in, worked out every day, was able to read some books, cook, pick up some new hobbies and made some cool new friends, and then I went back to my old field, feeling grateful for what I have and mentally refreshed, and was able to perform at a high level and even got a promotion. Sure, it cost me a lot of money, but if you're miserable and suffering, is the money really worth it? I say go for it. You'll be pleasantly surprised where you find yourself in a year, and it may not be where you expect.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.